Right. Hello, Leeds fans. Welcome back to One Leeds. The conversation today is going to be, and it kind of revolves around all of us, to be fair, if we were to get promoted, Parker, Wilder and Daniel Farke as well. Maybe our owners are maybe a little bit more vocal with it in terms of, or maybe it's just, there's a bit more of a cast of those guys that they're a little bit more ruthless. Should Leeds United stick with Daniel Farke regardless? We stay in the Championship. It's a third season.
If you stay in the Championship, you've got to get rid
sacked. I completely agree. If Leeds get to the Premier League, do you think the 49ers, being the ruthless owners they are, see him as a promotion specialist? Which maybe is what we involve sentiment, don't we, in football? You do. But we involve sentiment a lot in football. They obviously will involve a little bit of sentiment, but it's a business for the 49ers. Will they look at Daniel Farke, maybe his recent record, and will they separate him being a fantastic Championship manager to him being a Premier League
you're saying
manager? I'm not saying it.
No, but you're saying even if they go up, should they sack Daniel Farke regardless?
That's the important context. Like, do you want to go up and sack him instantly?
And Scott Parker's another one as well.
Yeah,
it would fit into that bracket.
It depends what you mean by ruthless. If you mean get promoted, here's the trophy because you've won the league, there's the open top bus, see you later. That is ruthless. I don't think anybody does that. But if, say, like, for example, you bottom at the end of August, then it might be a conversation there to get rid of him because he's already shown that he's not done it a couple of times in the Prem.
So bottom at the end of August that's about 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, okay, bring it back to sort of like September then. But you've seen managers, I think Palace got rid of a manager not long ago.
4 games in.
Yeah, 4 games in, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
So say, for example, if you're in that situation, then yeah, I think there's a conversation to be had there about getting rid of him mid-September then, for example. Maybe the first international break is normally around mid-September, isn't it? If you're bottom there and you're not doing very well and it's looking like it's going to be another Farke special in the Premier League, then yeah, potentially get rid of it. And that's exactly how I feel about Scott Parker as well.
I think the difference is with it is, you've said this before with Wilder, and it was interesting when you mentioned this, and I was going to sort of pick your brains about it. You said, I'd be all right going down again with Wilder. This once again comes to the 49ers. I know this for a fact. They're not going up, and there's a likelihood.
When did I say that?
You've mentioned before that if you'd still stick with Wilder throughout the season regardless. Yeah, okay. You've mentioned that. With Daniel Farke, he's not built up that sentiment with Leeds fans. I don't think that Wilder has with the Sheffield United fan base, but I also think the 49ers going to the Premier League to stay up, and that's not to say the American owners at Sheffield United, and obviously Burnley, who are very ambitious, are not going to stay up. But I did find it interesting how you sort of said last time out, I'd be fine going down with Chris Wilder. That is not their expectation whatsoever. Their expectation of the 49ers, whether it's deluded or not, they are going to chuck 150 million, 200 million at this Leeds United squad.
That's another debate then. Do you want Farke spending that money?
Well, that is a different element.
Couple of things there, isn't there?
Yeah, because Farke previously, you've said, and other Leeds fans will say, that he's not been given the chance to flourish at Premier League level because he hasn't had a budget. Yep. And twice at Norwich, he was given a pittance and went down with a whimper, understandably so. But we've talked about the difference between the Premier and the Championship. Maybe not so strong then, but he certainly is now. So he would need money if he's to have half a chance.
Yeah.
On the Chris Wilder thing, I can't remember saying it, to be honest, but I stand by it because it would have to depend on how we were to be relegated. Because if we were to be relegated like Southampton are this season, you've got to give it a better go than that. But I believe that if we go down fighting, which we're all expected to do, all 3 clubs, if we're promoted, we're expected to go down. Leeds are obviously the outliers with some people, but it's still a huge gap. As long as we're showing willing and we are close, we're within touching distance and we've something to fight for going into the last 5 games at season, then yeah, I still with Wilder.
American owners.
I'm not saying no, but that's
a fan opinion.
That's a fan opinion. The owners are an unknown quantity,
100%.
Because and similar to Leeds, I suppose, in a lot of ways, they're ambitious and they've just brought in another very wealthy investor who will want success. They're not buying it to be a Championship club.
Exactly. That's what I keep saying with the 49ers. It's like we all have this sentiment. Don't get me wrong, I get it, but the 49ers have a reputation for being absolutely cutthroat, ruthless when it comes to the NFL. I just can't see. Okay. I don't know. How long? We've all spoken about the levels of the Premier League. How long do they keep Parker? Do they keep Wilder? Do they keep Daniel Farke without them thinking to themselves, well, we've invested in this business. We're looking at a new stadium, which the 49ers are going to go on straight away, by the way. We're not going down again. We're not dealing with all that. We're not losing 80 to 100 million quid. Yeah. We're not doing it. Yeah. So we will get rid of him. Now, it'll be unpopular with some fans, but that's the ruthless approach that American owners in particular take.
But it depends on how much of the fan opinion that the owners take into consideration, particularly with Sheffield United as well, because Chris Wilder is adored by the vast majority of Sheffield United fans. There'll always be that small contingent that are still upset with him for how he left in the first instance. The only thing I can compare it to is if you do start Farke on day one, and you bring in Marcelo Bielsa, and you go for it in the Premier League, and you miss out by 3 points, and you get relegated again, and fans are in love with him.
Oh my God!
That's like the board say, no, sorry, he's gone, he's out.
Yeah,
we're bringing in Dave Hockaday Mark II. So or whatever we're called, that guy. So we're bringing in our guy. And it's just, sometimes, I mean, the owners will do what they want regardless. But I think they have to be mindful of how the fans feel about the situation, because it's our club too. They are.
Americans are just don't think they do. I'm not going to care. And that's, well, I think there's going to be a rude awakening, I think, when we get, if we get to the Premier League.
You don't know yet, do you? You don't know yet, because you know.
But Sheffield United probably need 100 million.
Or more.
If it's stay up. 130. Burnley need the exact same amount. I mean, what from a Burnley standpoint, Parker's been up with Bournemouth before. What, did they stick with him for a bit too long, and then he got the bullet, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, important context to add is they did stay up with that. But yeah, I agree. Like, I think it'd be ruthless if we went up. You can't get rid of him there and then. Sentiment or not, I think it'd be stupid, and fans would react in a negative manner. There's obviously going to be.
So what?
Well, because you don't want the fans being against you as an owner.
They're not going to be against you.
So you
said, what if you bring in a top manager?
You win. What if you bring in a top manager? You can't win, because if you struggle, then it'll always be.
No matter who we bring in, I think we're all going to struggle. To be fair, I think we're all going to struggle. No matter so if you get rid of Farke on day one and bring in some unknown guy from,
or even on game 10, some will say it's too early.
What if you had 10 losses?
Well, that's a different tale, isn't it? You can fully justify some decisions, and the longer it goes, the more you can justify.
That's where I differ to you, Jimmy. I think if the season has started, it's maybe 8 games in and it's poor, that is ruthless. I admit that, but I think it's also a good decision sometimes to get rid of
8 games. It's a long part of the season.
Premier League season.
It's massive. 8 games. If you get to 8-10 games,
but
you've not won a game,
but if you're it depends where you are in context of the league. If you're in touching distance, then
look at Leicester, for example. They got rid of Cooper and brought in what's his name, Van Nistelrooy, and that I thought that were a bad decision at the time. So you've got to get it. If you're going to do that again, you've got to get it right.
Wolves got themselves out of it sacking Gary O'Neill, didn't they?
Yeah. So there's obviously different. There's examples.
Less young styles there, aren't they? Maresca going really early, and then them having to go to Cooper, then Nistelrooy. That's context again for going up to the Premier League and not thinking that it's all done for every single team. It's context. But I do think with Farke, I guess the thing with all 3 managers, adaptability. Are you going to adapt to the Premier League? If you're given 150, 200 million quid, have you proven this season, have you proven in your career that you can adapt, you can be pragmatic? Or are you going to stick to your values like Russell Martin, like Vincent Kompany, and you're going to go down, you're basing everything on your reputation and not the club standing?
I think the only manager that can say he's done well in the Premier League out of our 3 is Wilder.
No. Oh, sorry. Yes. I'm sorry. I didn't. Yeah. For some reason, for some reason, I thought to myself, with Bielsa then. Because you mentioned it. Yeah, 100%.
So there is that element to that, and it's a good point you make in terms of 49ers are going to spend upwards of 200 million quid, and do you want Farke being that guy to spend it, and then 8 games in get sacked? Then you're bringing in a guy with a team that's not ready for him. So there is a conversation we had there, and I understand that element to it. But for me, say if you get promoted, you hand him the trophy because you've won the league, and then after that you sack him. Not for me.
It's ruthless. Yeah, it's absolutely ruthless. And you don't see it that much, but sometimes you do see it, and it does work.
It's a huge risk, though, because
O'Neill at Bournemouth, Iriola comes in.
If you get relegated that season, no matter what else you do, there'll always be fans that say we should have stuck with Farke. Well, we never know.
And that's what happened with Bielsa. We're going to relegate, and it was always like we should never have sacked Bielsa.
Yeah, because he would have got us out of it eventually.
He'd have got us out. Okay, interesting chat there anyway. Let us know what you think in the comment section below for all 3 clubs, actually. That I'd come in with this being the Leeds conversation, but is actually really interesting. We look at Wilder and Parker as well. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Everybody, check out Blaze Ramble, check out Turfcast, of course. Make sure as well you check out Football Prizes. They've got a section of giveaways till the end of the season. Link in the description below. Everybody, get involved. I think it's 39p. Make sure you get involved. Like, comment, subscribe. See you in a bit. That was weird.
You were mouthing it. Oh, was it? I could hear like lip movements. I'm like, what's going on?
Fuck's sake, what have I done? They're like 20 minutes each then.
Yeah, your file's 43 minutes long.
That's massive, isn't it? Jesus.